I can take the dick off the table based upon my standard. You aren't gonna get hold of this dick if you ain't being the woman I need you to be. You need to realize that you need to cook, clean. You gotta understand that you're not the only woman. And if you can accept that, that's fine. That's just the beginning, because you gotta work hard for me, because I work hard for me. So that means if you get with me, it's not gonna be easy street, because I need to be satisfied, because it ain't no happy wife, happy life bullshit. It's happy Steve, happy Steve.
Being strong with self, understanding who you are, is the biggest defense to bitch ass weak men.
And there's no excuses for the men not to be strong. But see, there's so many forces, and then so many men are embracing weakness.
I can't stand weak men. Like I don't like to talk to them. It's hard for me to talk to these losers. I've always been a winner at the winner's table.
You know, I believe it's a sin to impregnate a woman who can't raise a child, you know, or impregnate a woman who's not fit to be a mother. And I think we have a responsibility in what we see today in these weak ass little feminine boys.
I can't tell another man what to do, but I can't dress feminine. I can't wear nail polish. It's just something that I can't do. Why? Because if I'm walking down the street and somebody's having trouble with a flat tire, I want them to feel that they can come to me and ask me, hey man, could you help me out with this? Because those are the type of things that a man will help out with. So I need to look like a man so they can know where to come for help.
Yeah, it is such a thing as toxic masculinity in the minds of bitch ass motherfuckers.
Talk about masculinity, assertiveness, authenticity, transparency. How can a guy who's straight up and honest with what he does be toxic?
If the media can train you to think something bad about it, you hear the word and you want to instantly have a certain reaction. You stop thinking, you start feeling. And when people learn to think and feel and not think through their feelings, that's when they can evaluate a person holistically. And they can say, is this toxic masculinity, or did I just hear something I didn't like? And why did I not like it? And only let me go within myself to see why.
I don't never look at no motherfucker and say, oh, that's a toxic masculine motherfucker. I never ever had, I didn't even know, that was an invented concept from a weak motherfucker that was like, I'm just tired of this motherfucker trying to tell me what to do and bully you over me with this bullshit.
What's going to make you successful is just understanding who you are and getting your mind right and being happy with who you are. That is the thing that's going to really make you successful. Because after you get all the toys, after you get all these things going on, you've had sex with all the women you want to have sex with, you traveled all the places, you're still going to be you, and you're going to always come back to you.
Why do I do this? Why are we even doing this documentary? I want guys to be in the best position possible. There's no way that I'm raising my voice or calling you a bitch ass nigga because I'm trying to hurt your feelings. I'm calling you a bitch ass nigga because you're doing bitch ass nigga shit. And if you continue doing bitch ass nigga shit, you're going to end up in bitch ass nigga situations. You get what I'm saying? So when I call you a bitch ass nigga, trust me, it's because I love you.
Game Kings 2, The Definition of Man, is out right now. Click the link below or go straight to masculineidentity.com to get your copy today. Still ain't getting women? Really? Come on, son. You need to go to badboymembership.com and step up your game. What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Mr. Locario, the bad boy of the dating game, and I'm telling you that if you really want to attract beautiful women, you need to go to badboymembership.com. This is where you get 45 through 90-minute step-by-step dating advice tutorials every month. Just sign up, follow the advice, and you'll get the woman you want. Go to badboymembership.com. That's badboymembership.com. It's your boy, Mr. Locario, the bad boy of the dating game, and I want to tell you about my documentary, Game Kings, The Definition of Game, starring myself, the Boss Mac Top Soil, Rosebud, Ron Wills, Miles Cunningham, and much more. In this documentary, you're going to learn about confidence, manhood, attracting women, and the definition of the game. To get this documentary, go to MrLocario.com.
Some people think you need a sports car to get what you want. Some people think you need $1 million. Some people think you need looks, status. The only thing you need is what they can't get unless they come straight to you. And that's your identity. Join the Masculine Identity membership today. MasculineIdentityMembership.com. Masculine Identity Soap. This luxurious, quality, high lather, high moisturizing, all natural bar soap has been handcrafted with care and consistency to provide a quality cleansing experience for self-care, focus, and productivity. Specially formulated for cold showers. Stay clean, gentlemen. Masculine Identity Soap.
Click the links below to get private one-on-one coaching sessions with Mr. Locario or Miles Cunningham to step up your game. These coaching sessions are designed to help you with your specific needs in the dating game. So make sure you click the links below right now so that you can step up your game today. Yo, what's poppin'? What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy, Mr. Locario. The bad boy of the motherfucking dating game. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the building. What's going on? Shout out to my lovely lady, April MC. In the building. Shout out to you. Shout out to Duke Alex. Shout out to Jay Bird. Got Game AT, Dax, A Million in the building. Studio Horror Music. What's poppin' with you? Martavius. What's good with you? Shout out to Joe Blast. Joe Blast in the motherfucking building. Shout out to Jay Hundo. What's poppin' with you? Shout out to Dan Frank. What's popping? What's going on? Shout out to White Jasper in the building. Who else? We got Stoneheart. What's going on? Monogamous Player in the building. June Sports. Rex Corp. Cambo in the building. What's going on? What's popping with you? Who else got up in here? Aussie was good. Ludway's in the building. Blastomatic. What's popping? Phoenix is in the building. What's going on? Dan Frank. What's good? So today, we're going to be talking about 3 important ways you're supposed to communicate with women, okay? Oh, the game's going to be so heavy. It's going to be so heavy. Going to be so heavy. But before we get into all of that, though, y'all already know how we get down over here. Y'all already know. So make sure that you guys go to this website, CunninghamElements.com. Get the Masculine Identity soap, parfum, shea butter. Make sure that you get all of that stuff and go to CunninghamElements.com to get all of your stuff right there. Also, make sure you guys go to shoplocario.com. Let me get that up on there real quick. So make sure you guys go to shoplocario.com. Make sure you get the online dating consultation. Get the massive game collection. Get Master the Vetting Process. Get How to Have Sex 2 Women a Day audio book and ebook. All of that stuff is on here and much, much more on shoplocario.com. And also make sure that you guys go to masculineidentitymembership.com so that you guys can join the Masculine Identity membership. So that you can get on the Zoom calls with Miles every Monday. And also make sure you guys go to Bad Boy membership where you get 45 through 90-minute audio and video dating advice tutorials every month. And last but not least, make sure you get this. Let me go here. Make sure you guys get on the Bad Boy show. Get on the Bad Boy show. Because every week on the Bad Boy show, we are spitting heavy game, and we are talking about current events and how that pertains to the game and all that other good stuff. So if you're not on the Bad Boy show, you are missing the fuck out. You feel what I'm saying? You're missing out. Guys, you want to call in? Call-in number is 844-672-7300, 844-672-7300 is the number. So if you guys want to call up, if you have a question, put a Q in the chat and we'll get to your questions. And also remember, next year, the price is going up for donations. So remember, next year is going to be $10 instead of $5. So make sure that you guys, be aware of that. You know what I'm saying? Also, the Bad Boy membership holiday sale is coming up soon. So, be on the lookout for that. And I will let you guys know what's popping with that. All right. So let's jump into this. 3 important ways you're supposed to communicate with women. And guys, if you want to call up, call up. Do not wait till the last minute because it's not going to be a long show. We're not going to be on here forever. You feel what I'm saying? So make sure if you want to call up, do this now. If you have a question, put it in the chat now so we can get to that near the end. All right, so let's get this shit cracking. Now, 3 important ways you're supposed to communicate with women, right? Now, these 3 ways that I'm going to talk about, right, are ways that you need to know how to interact with women so that you are able to manage situations correctly with women, right? Because a lot of times what happens is the reason why you guys get frustrated in the game when it comes to you dealing with women is because you don't know how to communicate with women, right? And there's a way how to communicate with women that is going to be not only beneficial for you, but also for the woman, right? Because what you got to understand is that communication is verbal and nonverbal, right? So what happens is that a lot of guys, they don't realize that the reason why they're struggling in certain situations, the reason why they get annoyed a lot of times, they're angry and all this other stuff when it comes to dealing with women is because they don't know how to communicate effectively to where it'll benefit them in the situations, right? So I'm going to go through these 3 things. I'm going to talk about each one, break it down so that you know what you should be doing out here in these streets. You feel me? All right, so let's jump into this. Now, the first way that you're supposed to communicate with women, right? Which is very important that I'm going to talk about right now, is you have to make sure that when you communicate with women, you are flirting, right? So now, that's the most obvious one right there, which is flirting. But guess what? Most guys don't flirt, right? What most guys do is when you talk to women, you guys are being very platonic, regular. You're not flirting. You're not building sexual tension. You're not doing any of that type of stuff, right? So a lot of times what guys do is they talk to women very platonic and on some neutral shit, right? In fact, what happens is this, right? Is that even if you're talking to a woman, right, that you may not necessarily be trying to make something happen with on a sexual tip or, any type of dating situation, you still want to be the type of guy who gives off flirtatious energy when he's talking and dealing with women. Why? Because what happens is that if you train your mind to flirt with women in general, then what's going to happen is that that's going to basically be a thing that happens automatically when you're talking to women. So a lot of guys, what happens is that they're used to talking to women very platonic, just being a nice guy, being a gentleman, all that other goofy shit, right? And so therefore, when they meet women they're attracted to and want to have sex with, guess what they do? They talk to the women, very platonic, just regular shit, just asking boring questions, all these other things, right? So what you want to do is you want to get into the mindset of when I talk to women, I'm flirting. Now, the only exception is women who are, let's say, your relatives and shit like that. You understand what I'm saying? You ain't got to do it with those women. But what I'm saying is women that you are not related to, right? You want to make sure when you're having these conversations that you have a flirtatious vibe. You understand what I'm saying? So even if you're not even trying to get with a particular woman, you still have a flirtatious vibe, right? So what I'm saying is, let's say, for example, you are having a conversation at the grocery store, some chick is ringing up your shit, right? And so let's say she just asks you, how's your day, right? And you're like, oh, my day is great, and it's gotten even better, talking to really beautiful woman like you. How's your day going, right? So you're just shooting the shit. You understand what I'm saying? You're not even trying to get with this woman, but that's your vibe and that's your energy, right? And so what happens is that when you will have that sort of energy when it comes to you dealing with women, then you are going to translate that to when you're talking to women that you want to hook up with, have sex with, make shit happen with, right? So you don't have to put it on because it's already there. It's already within you, right? So you want to train your mind and your body to be able to interact with women that way by flirting. Because if you guys are doing anything besides the flirting, meaning if you guys are just talking regular all the time, this is what's going to get you in the friend zone. You understand what I'm saying? This is what's going to, get you in situations where you're going to meet women that you're extremely attracted to, and you're going to be scared to flirt. Why? Because you're not used to flirting. You understand what I'm saying? You have to be able to flirt. You have to be able to build the sexual tension. So you want to train your mind to do this when you're talking to women in general, right? See, another reason why you want to flirt and make this happen is because you want to remind yourself and the woman, right, what this is. You understand? So you want to let her know and remind yourself that there are certain roles that we're playing in this particular situation, right? So I'm not here to be your friend. I'm not here to just talk to you about regular shit. I'm not here to, go back and forth with you about nothing, right? The interaction we're having is a flirtatious and sexual interaction. You see what I'm saying? And so you want to be able to have that where you're doing that consistently when you are talking and interacting with women. Because the thing is that if you are not doing this consistently, then what's going to happen is that you're going to fall back into how you've been talking to women, which is very regular, very polite, very platonic, very gentlemanly like, because this is the default that most guys do, is they default into, let me be this very gentlemanly, nice, polite type of guy when talking to a woman. You understand what I'm saying? And you being polite and nice, right, is not the thing. You have to be sexual. It has to be flirtatious, right? Because that's going to yield you the results that you want, unless you just want to be friends with women. Now, if you want to be friends with women and that's all you want to do, then, you do the other shit, right? I always tell you guys, don't be friends with women. But you doing it the other way, meaning you are being non-sexual, you're not flirting, you're not doing any of these things, right? That's the type of shit that's going to make you be the type of guy that is going to be on some platonic shit with these women. This is why you got to make sure that you're flirting, building sexual tension, and that's the thing that you do. That's how you're supposed to communicate with women. It has to be a flirtatious energy, right? Because if it's not, then what's going to happen is that the woman a lot of times can tell that you are attracted to them, but she can see that because you are not really taking it there on some flirting shit, then she's going to take advantage of the situation and have you follow her, right? So she's going to come with her own agenda for the situation. Because check this out. Let's say a woman's agenda was to try to get you in the friend zone and also get you to talk to her, hang out with her, and even take her out, right? Then what's going to happen is this. The only way that she can do that is if you're not flirting, because flirting creates the premise of the interaction, right? So there's no way for her to make it friendly if you're flirting, right? Because she has to respond to the flirting. There's no way to make it a friend zone type of thing because you're flirting. She has to respond to the flirting, right? So either she's interested in you sexually or she's not. So if she's interested in you sexually, she'll continue to flirt with you, go back and forth, and you go in that direction. If she is not interested in you sexually, right, what she's going to do is she's going to back off of that type of conversation. She's going to be a little standoffish. She might sometimes even shame you depending upon how, you're talking and how you're, viewing the chick, right? See, even when you guys go on dates, right, dates have to be flirting, right? A lot of guys will go on dates and shit and be super, super platonic. Be very gentlemanly be very polite and shit. No, when you're on these dates, you're supposed to be flirting with these women. You're supposed to be building sexual tension. You understand what I'm saying? You have to do that, right? So this is the thing. What happens is that a lot of times when you first start a conversation with a woman, in some cases, it could just be you having small talk, right? So there's nothing necessarily wrong with small talk. The problem is that most guys adhere to small talk most of the time. And so they don't get into creating a flirtatious situation, right? So if you're on a first date with a girl, or you're at the bar, you randomly met a girl, You can have a little bit of small talk, but it has to quickly turn into flirting. Now, when you are advanced in a game, then, you just go straight into flirting immediately if you want to make that happen. But what happens is flirting has to happen. And flirting should be the conversation, right? 85 to 90% of the conversation should be that, right? So the first important way that you're supposed to communicate with women is flirting. If you are not flirting, right, and you will tell that you're not based on the context of the conversation, you need to say to yourself, okay, I need to ramp this up. I need to start getting more flirty with this woman. You understand what I'm saying? I need to start getting more flirty with this woman. So let's say you're at a fucking bar or something, you talking to this girl and you're just shooting this shit, going back and forth. Oh, like, hey, what's up? How you doing? What's your name? My name is this, blah, blah, blah. So you're having a little bit of small talk, right? But then what happens is that you got to realize, okay, I got to change the fucking direction of this shit, right? So let's say she says some shit like, oh, what do you like to do for fun or whatever, right? So now you can either use that question to start the flirting. You understand? So you can be like, listen, I like to, eat pussy for fun. You feel what I'm saying? So then you're going in that direction, right? Now, what happens is that if a woman is not interested in you like that, guess what she's going to, oh my God, how could you say that? That's so wrong and you're fucked up and I'm out of here. She walks away or whatever, or she shames you, or she's like, took it aback and she tries to change the subject or whatever it is like that, right? But if the woman is interested, right, then it goes in that direction. You see what I'm saying? But you have to switch it to flirting at some point sooner than later. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to make it sooner than later, right? Because the thing is that if you are, just talking just regular about regular shit, that becomes boring. You're not flirting and building sexual tension, and therefore you can't see if the woman is actually interested in you sexually. So flirting is very, very, very important. Now, let's move on to number 2. So this one is a little bit more complex and a little bit more, you got to be very aware that this is happening, because if you're not aware that this is happening, or, when it comes to you dealing with a woman, that this is going on, then you're going to get caught up in some bullshit. And I don't want you to do that. Right. So the second important way you're supposed to communicate with women is you're supposed to ignore what's not relevant. You understand? You're supposed to ignore what's not relevant. Now, this will save you a lot of headache when you deal with women, right? Always ignore what's not relevant. Now, what are you talking about, Locario, when you say ignore what's not relevant, right? So what I'm saying is that within a conversation, sometimes what will happen is that women will start talking about certain things, saying certain things, asking certain questions that are not relevant to where you're taking the conversation, right? Now, when you notice that she is saying something, right, that is not relevant, do not respond to that. Do not give that light. Do not validate her with a conversation about the irrelevant thing. Right, I'll give you a perfect example. So let's say you're on a dating app, you match with a girl, and you say to her, hey, what's up? When are you free to get together to get a drink? Right? Now, what would you be looking for from her response about getting together for a drink when she's free, right? You would be looking for her to let you know when she's free so that you guys can get together and get a drink, right? So that is the only relevant response that needs to happen based on that question, correct? Now, let's say that woman, you send her that message, hey, what's up? When are you free to get together, get a drink, right? And then she replies with something like, oh, hey, what's up? Tell me about yourself. Right? So now, what most guys would do, because they have no game, they'll start telling her about themselves. They're answering her question. Now notice, you asked her a question and she said some other shit that had nothing to do with the question you asked, right? So her talking about, oh, tell me about yourself, that's irrelevant. What's relevant is I'm asking you when you're free so we can make this happen. Now, what I'm saying is you want to ignore that. So what you can do is one or two things, right? Or I should say it's actually one thing, but you could do it in two different ways. So the one thing that you do is you go straight back into what you asked, right? So remember, you said to her, hey, what's up? When are you free to get together and get a drink? Her response was, oh, hey, what's up? Tell me something about yourself, right? So what you could say is you could just literally repeat what you just said. Hey, when are you free to get together to get a drink, right? Or what you can do is you can sort of use what she said, put it in the agenda of what you're trying to do in the first place. So for example, you say to her, hey, what's up? When are you free to get together, get a drink? And she says, oh, hey, tell me something about yourself, right? So what you can do is your response could be, well, listen, I will tell you a lot about myself when we get together to get a drink. When are you free? You understand what I'm saying? So it's always back to what you're doing, right? She has to focus on what's relevant, right? So you don't want to go down a path of answering her irrelevant questions, right? You don't want to go down this route of, having this back and forth with a woman, right? Because a lot of times, you'll interact with women and they'll do shit like that. So you want to keep the woman back on, you want to get her back on course of what the situation is. Now, what's good about this is that this is the type of stuff, right? He said, why didn't you just ask her if she has a handicap or mental disability? Exactly. Now, what's good about, ignoring what's not relevant is that when you, are trying to set up this date, you'll see if this girl is really trying to make something happen with you, or she's just trying to go back and forth and be an attention whore and all this other stuff. Because if you repeat the question of when are you free and she still ignores that, or she does some other stuff, then it's like, cool. Well, you're showing me you're not actually trying to make anything happen. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'll give you another example of, ignoring what's not relevant, right? So when you start, dating a woman, woman might become your girlfriend or wife or whatever it is like that, right? Sometimes what happens is that women will, bring up things or talk about things that are not relevant, right? And so the way that you can tell the difference between something that is relevant versus something that's not relevant, right, is that you have to understand that what's not relevant is usually based on her expressing something that has to do with how she feels and not necessarily what's actually happening in reality, right? So usually when she's expressing something based on how she feels versus what's actually happening in reality, it's usually not relevant. Now, what is relevant is when she's expressing something that is based in reality and not necessarily just based on how she feels. So that's how you tell the difference, right? So you're probably like, well, Locario, how do I know what's relevant or what's not relevant? Is what she's saying based in reality, or is what she's saying based on how she feels? I'll give you a perfect example, right? Let's say, for example, you chilling, with your girlfriend, a chick you're dating, your wife, whatever it is like that. Now, this is what would be relevant. Let's say you told your girl, hey, next Saturday, we're going to go out to dinner, right? And then, so next Saturday is approaching and it's Friday, the day before next Saturday or whatever. And you say to her, you're like, hey, so tomorrow night, I'm thinking that I want to go, drive to Jersey real quick and pick up some stuff at the store. And then she's going to say, wait a second. Remember, you said that we were going to go out to dinner Saturday evening. And you're like, oh, you know what? You're right. You are right. Thank you for reminding me. It kind of slipped my mind. My bad. We're definitely going to dinner, right? That is relevant. That's relevant. Now, let me give you an example of something that's not relevant. Right? Now, let's say you were at work, right? And for whatever reason, your phone died. And then your girl texts you, but your phone died, right? So your phone died, you realize your phone died, you charge your phone, and then you see the text or whatever that your girl sent, right? So now the reason why you didn't see the text earlier is because your phone died, right? So then next thing you know, you go home or whatever, or you see your girl or whatever it is like that, or the girl you're talking to, and then she was like, hey, how come you, didn't text me back, earlier? Like took you a long time. And you're like, oh yeah, my phone died. So I didn't even see your text till I text you back. Right. Which is the truth. So now let's say she says, well, are you sure it was that? Or were you like out talking to some girl? Right. So what happens is that she's taking a conversation somewhere that's not relevant. Now, what you don't want to do is you don't want to go back and forth with her arguing like, what are you talking about? And she's like, well, I think you was with some girl. That's why, you didn't text me back. And maybe you were like, hooking up with some chick. And you're like, no, I wasn't hooking up with no chick. What are you talking? I was at work. And then she's like, well, how do I know you? So now you're getting into an argument because now you're having a conversation based on something she said that's not relevant. You see what I'm saying? But the reason why she even said that in the first place is because that's coming from how she feels about what she thinks happened versus what's actually happening. You see what I'm saying? Now, the reason why you frustrate yourself when you deal with women is because you fall into these types of conversations with women when you're supposed to understand and realize she's only speaking from insecurity. So why are you validating the insecurity by having a conversation about something that's not relevant? You see what I'm saying? So you have to pay attention and understand, okay, is she making a valid point or is she talking based on feeling? You see what I'm saying? Now, if she's making a valid point of something that's occurring or something that needed to happen, just like I said earlier about, y'all going to dinner, that makes sense. So you're going to address that and you're going to make that happen. But if she's bringing up something or saying something or trying to have a conversation about something about things that are not relevant, you do not feed into that. Right? So let's say, for example, in that particular situation or scenario, right, you still are going to ignore that conversation, right? So let's say, for example, same thing happens, you come home and she's like, oh, but why didn't you, pick up the phone or whatever, or text me back? It took you a long time. Oh yeah, that was, I had my phone died, I had to recharge it or whatever, right? And she's like, well, are you sure? So aren't you, are you saying that you weren't out like talking to some bitch and, and hooking up with some girl? Now, this is the point where you ignore it. And this is how you ignore it in that particular situation. So what you do is you laugh it off. You're like, girl, you funny as hell. Listen, come here. And you give her a hug, kiss her on her forehead, smack her on her ass, and then tell her, be like, yo, what's for dinner? That's it. You see what I'm saying? That's it. You see what I mean? Because understand, if you fall into talking to women about shit that's not relevant, right? What you're doing is you're validating the irrelevant shit. You see what I'm saying? So she's just thinking of this in her mind based on her insecurity. But what happens is that if you start arguing with her, going back and forth, you address it like it's real. You understand what I'm saying? And, Hold on, what is this shit saying? This is bugging out. Okay. You address it like it's real. Then what's going to happen is that you're going to get into these, arguments back and forth. You're going to frustrate yourself. You understand what I'm saying? Things are going to be, annoying for you. And see, this is what happens with a lot of guys. A lot of guys, what they do is they indulge women in a relevant conversation. And what I'm telling you is if it's not relevant, ignore it. Don't give it any light. You understand what I'm saying? Do not give it any light, because remember, she's talking based on how she feels, not what's actually happening. You got to understand this, because what happens is that, see, when you ignore it and not make it a thing, then what happens is that she realizes, oh yeah, I'm just being, goofy right now. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just being goofy right now, especially in these particular situations where you are actually, in this particular example, you were actually at work, your phone died, and that was the truth, right? You know that's the truth. She doesn't know that's the truth. So she's having a conversation based on what she thinks happened, and you're trying to fall into, you understand what I'm saying? Like what's going on as far as what she's talking about. You feel what I'm saying? But guys, so if you guys want to call up, the call-in number is 844-672-7300. 844-672-7300 is the number. This StreamYard shit is acting funny. They doing pop-ups and shit on the back end. I'm like, this shit distracted me as hell. I was like, what the fuck is going on? But anyway, but guys, if you want to call up. If you have a question, put a Q in the chat and we'll get to your question. All right. So that's number 2. Now, let's move on to number 3. So the third important way you're supposed to communicate with women is you're supposed to make sure your words line up with your actions. Your words line up with your actions. So on your end, you said the stream is tweaking. Was something going on your end? Because I'm like, on my end, it's some weird shit that was happening. I was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. It was jumping from some other shit to some other shit. Okay, so it's working fine. Okay, cool. So yeah, so your words have to line up with your actions. So what does that mean? That means that if you are just wanting to hook up with a woman, that means your words have to line up with your actions. So, for example, you want to hook up with a girl, right? You basically don't tell her, oh yeah, I'm dating with intentions. I'm looking for my person. Don't tell her none of that shit if you're just trying to hook up. You understand what I'm saying? Right? Don't tell her none of that shit. Also, if you're just trying to hook up, you should not be calling her, texting her every day. You should not be taking her on 3 or 4 dates and all this other shit, right? You should not be fucking cuddling in the bed and doing all this other nonsense, right? You meet her, you have sex, you keep it moving. You meet her again, y'all hook up, you bounce. You understand what I'm saying? That is the extent of your relationship. So that means your words and your actions are lining up, right? Because you're letting her know, hey, I'm just trying to hook up. I'm just trying to do something casual, right? Excuse me. Doing something casual. Now, what happens is that your actions line up with you doing something casual. You understand? See, a lot of guys, they have a lot of drama with women when it comes to hooking up with women in certain situations. Why? Because their words don't line up with their actions, right? So the guy acts like he wants a long-term relationship because he's courting the woman, being a perfect gentleman. And then he hooks up with the girl, and then he slowly kind of falls back. And the girl's like, what happened? What's going on? Why are you acting this way? And then they go back and forth doing all this extra shit. He's frustrated. Why is she tripping? Why is she acting like that? And see, your words didn't line up with your actions. See, the problem is that when it comes to this particular situation, most guys' words don't line up with their actions because they don't actually think a woman would want to have sex with them casually. So what they do is that they use their words to try to manipulate the woman into thinking they want a longer term situation or something, that is serious and all this other stuff so that they can get the pussy. And then once they get the pussy, they're out of there. But see, your words have to line up with your actions. The problem is that a lot of guys don't realize what that even means. So a lot of guys, they don't realize that, oh shit, well, yeah, I just wanted to hook up, but maybe I shouldn't be like spending the night. Maybe I shouldn't be cuddling with her. Maybe I shouldn't be talking on the phone with her for an hour. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Because by doing this, I'm getting all this negative feedback when it comes to dealing with her. But see, you wouldn't have any of that negative feedback if your words lined up with your actions. Because a lot of guys think that, there's always going to be some sort of drama, if you're, trying to be casual or hooking up with a bunch of women. No, the only drama you get is when your words don't line up with your actions. That's the only time drama happens. So meaning you could be hooking up with multiple women at the same time and get drama from none of them if your words line up with your actions. But once your words don't line up with your actions, then, shit's not gonna pop off for you. See, even for example, let's say you tell a girl that you just want to hook up and she's cool because she just want to hook up too. But then you start catching feelings. Right? So now you want to do a little bit more, but she's still just trying to hook up. And then so what's going to happen is that your actions are going to show her that your words are not lining up with it. And then that's when you're going to have issues because she's going to be looking at you like, bro, why are you acting so weird? Why are you being so clingy and needy? I thought you just wanted to fuck. I thought we was just keeping it casual. And now all of a sudden you in your feelings. Right? So your words are saying one thing, your actions are saying something different. Your words always have to line up with your actions. If that is not happening, you are going to have drama. You understand what I'm saying? I guarantee you're going to have drama. And the reason why you're going to have drama is because what happens is that when you say you're going to do a certain thing, right? It has to match what you do. You understand? So if you are love bombing some chick, taking her out on 3 dates, courting her, doing all that other stuff, right? What happens is that those actions are lining up with how you're coming at her and the things that you're saying and creating a scenario where she sees this as something that could lead to a serious relationship, so forth and so on. So what happens is that your words at this point are lining up with your actions. But then check this out. If you're doing those things just to fuck, and then you'll fuck, and then you'll fall back, then that means your words are not lining up with your actions. Your actions are different than what you said that you wanted. But you said you wanted all that bullshit because you thought this is the easiest way to fuck. See, there's a difference between if, for example, you meet a girl, you're like, you know what? I like her. She seemed cool. And you start, hooking up with her, right? You're thinking, I would date this chick. Let me see where this goes. And then you find out at some point that you're not really feeling her, right? So you change your mind about this particular woman. That's one thing. But the problem is that if you intentionally go into a situation knowing, for example, you just want to have sex, but you are acting as if you want something more, your words are not lining up with your actions. And then you're going to suffer. That's how it works. But let me see what some of these questions are saying. And guys, if you want to call in, you got like 10 minutes left because we're about to wrap this up. It's not going to be a long show today. But yeah, if you want to call in now. But let me see what some of these questions say. It says, is attention overrated compared to control over the approach, since women receive attention, but men who approach choose and filter who gets access? Wait, I'm confused about it. So you said, is attention overrated compared to control over the approach? I'm confused about how you're wording that, because he's saying when women receive attention, men who approach choose and filter who gets access. Well, this is the thing. See, when it comes to you approaching women, right? What happens is that if you are approaching women with the idea that you are hoping she would approve of you or like you or want you, right? Then what happens is that she's not going to be attracted to you anyway, and she's just going to use you as someone that is a guy for attention. Meaning, even in that particular situation, she's using that particular situation as a way to get more attention to her, right? But you're saying, the men who approach choose and filter who gets access. But when you talk about getting access to what? You have to be the opportunity, right? Because she wants to get access to the opportunity. If you are the guy trying to get her to like you or hoping she likes you, you are not the opportunity. So therefore, she doesn't want access to that. You see what I'm saying? She only wants access to what she feels is going to benefit her. You see what I'm saying? So that's why it's important for you as a man to understand your value, understand yourself. So when you're even approaching and interacting with women, what happens is that you're not coming to her trying to get her to validate you, which is what most guys do when they approach. You understand what I'm saying? They're looking towards women for the validation, right? This is why even what's funny about, like, for example, like, pickup artist videos where they're, in the field and doing all that other goofy shit, right? What that's essentially showing is them trying to get validated by interacting with women, and the women in some form or fashion showing that they're interested. Because what most guys do is they'll look at that and be like, oh, wow, that's so amazing. Wow, I want a girl to like me too, and so forth and so on, right? Because they're still at that level where they're looking for validation from women. So what happens is that your interactions with women, right, should be based on if that particular woman fits into your program. So if she's going to fit into your program, you are not there trying to get validation from her. You're interacting with her, giving her the opportunity, right? So it depends on how you look at this shit and how you understand this stuff. So it says early on, is it better to keep the interaction minimal and let her imagination work instead of giving more access before she's invested and looks for reason to disqualify you? Why, Jasper? Why you be asking these you be asking these crazy ass questions? You need to call up. Because look, let's break this down. So you're saying keep the interaction minimal and let her imagination work. That sounds like a lot of PUA shit. You understand what I'm saying? So you're saying instead of giving her more access before she's invested and looks for a reason to disqualify you. Again, PUA stuff. So a lot of what you're saying sounds like very pickup artisty type of thing, right? Because this is the thing. If you're worrying about all those things, you're giving way too much importance and attention to the woman. You understand what I'm saying? Because there's certain things that happen naturally as a woman is dealing and interacting with a man. So he's saying let her imagination work. Her imagination is already going to work because she don't know you. You understand what I'm saying? So now the thing is that you're saying giving more access. What access are you giving the woman, or how much access are you giving a woman that you just met, right? If you have game, hardly any. You're just giving her an opportunity, right, to get on the train. You understand what I'm saying? You're saying before she invested and looks for reasons to disqualify you, right? But see, this is the issue again. When you're looking at it in that aspect, right? You're still worrying about what the woman is thinking. Like we did a show about this today on the Bad Boy Show. I'm gonna put up a little later, where I was talking about how a lot of guys worry or care about why a woman wasn't interested. They'd start thinking, oh, maybe she rejected me because of this, or maybe this girl didn't call me back because of that. And you're still thinking about the woman. Now, from me being a teacher and I'm teaching you guys these things, right? I'll let you know, yeah, if you're talking to a woman, she might respond this way or resist because of this, this, and that. But what I'm saying is that none of that matters when you have game, because when you have game, you're only focusing on you. This is why we tell you guys the game is not about women. Because check this out. If I'm talking to a woman and she's following my lead and she's cooperating with me, right? Essentially, that's me focused on me because she's in alignment with me. Now, if I'm worried about a woman disqualifying me or a woman saying this or feeling this way, and she's not following my lead or cooperating with me, let's say the girl says no, or she's being wishy-washy, or she flakes on a date, right? All of those things are not in alignment with me. So why am I even thinking about that or worried about that? You see what I'm saying? So this is why we say the game is not about women, because when you make it about women, now you start thinking, oh, well, what are these things that I can do to stop women from rejecting me or flaking and all? So you start going into these things, and this is where the pickup artistry comes in, where it's like, oh, well, if you hit her attraction triggers and you do this and then that will get rid of her last minute resistance and all of these things. This is where you guys are going with the situation. You see what I'm saying? Let me see. Said, do you even flirt with the woman who you're not attracted to? It just comes naturally because it's within you. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. You want to be able to have that flirtatious energy, period. You understand what I'm saying? So even when it comes to you having flirtatious energy, it's not just in what you say. It's how you're being in the moment. It's how you're looking at the woman, right? It's you being playful, right? It's you having that charismatic energy. Like all of those things are, there when you're talking to the woman. Do you see what I'm saying? But it becomes part of how you operate. So it's basically second nature. It says, what if I was hooking up with another chick? I don't want to lie. Well, this is the thing. If you were hooking up with another chick, shouldn't the girl that you are dealing with know that you hook up with other chicks? So, for example, if you had a girlfriend and wife, your girlfriend and wife should know that you're hooking up with other chicks. Yes? Right? So that's the thing. If a woman is actually like your girl, she should already know that's happening. If she doesn't know that's happening, then you fucked up already by getting into a relationship with a woman who doesn't know that shit is happening. You see what I'm saying? So in that particular situation, right, that would be relevant because that would be you, for example, if this was your girl or your wife, that would be you cheating, right? If you was actually hooking up with the girl. What I'm saying is, if you were not hooking up with the girl and your woman comes to you like, you was out there fucking these hoes, right? Don't have that conversation with her. You see what I'm saying? How do I make it clear to a girl I first meet that I'm only interested in hooking up in casual and not boyfriend type activities? Just like how you said it. What do you mean? What do you like? Why is it so difficult? Just tell her exactly how you wrote it. Tell her, right? You meet the girl, you're having a conversation. Hey, listen, I'm not into the whole boyfriend activities, doing all the cuddling and hanging out and watching movies, but I am interested in us getting together, hooking up, having a good time, having some sex and keeping it casual. Why is that so hard? See, y'all just don't want to hear no. That's the problem. You see what I'm saying? Y'all just don't want a chick to tell you no. You don't want a chick to shame you. Oh, how could you? Is that all you want? Blah, blah. You don't want to hear all that. You understand? And I get it, but that's part of the game. You see what I'm saying? But understand, she's saying all that because she's not sexually attracted to you. Because if she was, then y'all be fucking. See, all of it is great because check this out. If the girl says no, or she tries to shame you, right? Either way, all that's telling you is she didn't want to fuck. And if she does want to fuck, y'all be fucking. So now all you've done is save yourself time. That's it. That is it. You know what I'm saying? That is it, man. So don't be scared to let a chick know this. But again, like I was saying, is to recap, first thing we was talking about was flirting. That's the first way to communicate. Second thing is ignore shit that's not relevant, right? And then the third thing is that your words have to align with your actions. You see what I'm saying? So you got to make sure that's happening when you are out here dealing with women. You feel what I'm saying? Got to make sure that's happening. All right, so guys, listen. Make sure you guys go to badboymembership.com, go to masculineidentitymembership.com, go to shoplocario.com, and go to cunninghamelements.com. Make sure you guys get up on that ASAP. And that's pretty much it. I'm out of here, guys. I'll holler at y'all later. Remember, the truth is inside you. Peace. I'm gone. These hoes fucking with their nose and their lips, and they go around thinking that they hot shit. They cutting up their whole face, new tits look fake. Bitch, you need to stop it. You're getting Botox, trying to look young sounds fun until it's not it. You think you look better think again, because bitch, you are not lit. What the fuck's this about? You're so fucked and I doubt you don't even realize you don't look human. Lip injections look like you got punched in the mouth. That's that self-hate shit. That's what you do when you think you ain't shit. Only the real relate with. What I say, haters hate, I say this. Fuck that fake shit. Fake ass, fake tits, fake lips, fake that, fake this. I want a real bitch. 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 I want the real shit. Why are y'all so drastic? Your body is plastic, your mental is that sick. Not being dramatic, but one wrong move and you'll be in the casket. Y'all in a place where I can't be in. I'm a champion. I love myself. I'm happy in the skin I'm in. Why you wanna be in the skin of a Kardashian? Even these males want a facelift. They wanna be like a fake bitch. They wanna fake it till they make it. The fake call me a hater, but the only thing I hate is fakeness. That's the self-hate shit. That's what you do when you think you ain't shit. Only the real relate with. What I say, haters hate, I say this. Fuck that fake shit. Fake ass, fake tits, fake lips, fake that, fake this. I want a real bitch. 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 I want the real shit. Fuck that fake shit. Fake ass, fake tits, fake lips, fake that, fake this. I want a real bitch. 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 I want the real shit.